Silicon Valley, technology, art, green, and sustainability.
Welcome to another episode of Silicon Valley Tech, Art, Green, and Sustainability. Today I'm very honored to have with me today a founder and a futurist, I guess, really, because you thought about this early on, founder of Cartelligent.com, and David Shapiro.
Yes, hi
Welcome,
Heather.
and thank you for coming. I was looking at you on camera a minute ago. You're a natural on camera. You got the great teeth, and you've probably done a lot of these appearances, right?
I don't know about that, but
yeah. So we'll have to have you back because great on camera.
Thank you.
So tell us about yourself before you start talking about the company. A little bit about you, your background, education. Are you from the Bay Area? Anything you want to tell us?
Yes. Well, I'll start. I was born in New York, but moved out here when I was very small.
I
And
would
did
have
grow.
never guessed that.
Yeah, I have a little bit of East Coast in me.
Yeah, can't really tell the accent, and yeah.
But yeah, grew up out here in the Bay Area and went to school out in Santa Barbara. So I spent most of my time here in California. And I'm not really a TV personality. I'm more of, I think, what they call entrepreneur and an optimist and someone who is always looking for better ways to do things. And fortunately, stay grounded by appreciating what's really great.
And you're married and have a family.
I'm married and I have 2 children, and that's
boys, girls.
A boy and a girl.
Awesome.
So
yeah.
that's I think the greatest joy in my life.
And so your background, had you worked in the car business before, or what was your background? What led you to where you are now?
Yeah, I have worked in my first job actually during college was working for Enterprise Rent-A-Car back in the 90s, which was a real up-and-coming company that was approaching the rental car business in a very different way than Hertz or Avis or National.
And in Santa Barbara?
No, I did it here in the Bay Area.
In the Bay Area, okay.
Yeah, and they were, instead of renting cars to people, business travelers and tourists at the airport, they were renting cars to people who needed a car because their car was in the shop being fixed either from an accident or repairs. So they were approaching a different market, but they also had a different culture.
Okay.
And it was one that was taking young people and giving them training and tools and empowerment to make the customer experience better. And that whole experience resonated with me.
And so how long were you with Enterprise then?
I did it actually as a summer internship job. Yeah.
And was that through the college then, or did you find it?
Actually got inspired by it because they were doing recruiting on campus even though I hadn't graduated yet. And then I reached out to someone that I knew and kind of got into the program.
And so after college, did you get into the car business
yeah,
too,
and
or
so
did
then
you
the
do
next
something?
thing I did was I went and got a job working at a car dealership, and thinking I'm passionate about cars and I like working with people, so that would be a logical next job to try. And it was a great experience in the sense that the culture there wasn't as positive and empowering and educational. It was more just sell a car to anyone who comes on the lot. And not necessarily in a bad way, but just in a different way.
And was that in the Bay Area?
Yeah, that
we
was
don't
also,
want to mention names.
That was also in the Bay Area. Actually, the dealership that I did work at is no longer in business. So
okay.
that's maybe says something about the way they did things
What
at the time.
kind of cars was it?
They were selling Fords.
Fords.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But it was a place.
I might have bought one of my first or second cars from them. So that's interesting. So how long did you work at the dealerships then?
Again, it was a summer experience, summer job during college time, and it was a place that gave me a job with no, real experience, knowing that I was a student, and I think they hoped I would, if I did well, would come back after I graduated. But I learned a lot while I was there, and the one thing that I learned that while I was there was that people came in with a lot of hope and a lot of enthusiasm and excitement when it came, and a lot of anxiety as well when it came time to getting a new car, and they had questions and they needed to be walked through all that stuff, and the model at the time was not really set up for that, and the training at the time wasn't really set up for that, and I found that ultimately people would leave the dealership, not saying anything about the dealership in particular or my customer service, but not 100% satisfied with the whole experience. It took a long time. They often tried to negotiate, but the dealership could out-negotiate them, and they often settled and got not their first color choice or first choice of options. They got what was close that was at the dealership. And throughout that time, I thought, wow, there has to be a better way to do this. And what is a way to approach that where you could get people what they wanted, get them a great price, and help them have a great experience?
I know personally, my first fiance, high school through college, worked at a dealership. And I would hear the stories of how they would try to get, not give people, they would want to have the bigger financing because they would have a bigger commission, let's just put it that way. So, and then also women going in by themselves. Like I learned early on that if I want to go get a car, bring a guy with me because they were going to try to negotiate less of a deal with a woman than a man, which just seems crazy in this day and age, but that's going down the rabbit hole. So tell us a little bit about your company, and maybe before we do that, we can pull up the video clip.
Sure.
And check that out. So actually, yeah, let's pull up the video clip first.
Okay. I'd had a couple of friends who'd gone through the process of dealing with Cartelligent. It was definitely a different way of buying a car. The thing that surprised me most was just how easy it was. My agent found exactly what I wanted. He found the color, the specs, everything that I was looking for, and I signed the documents in less than an hour. It was so simple.
So that tells a lot. So now, were you a programmer too? Is that another part of this, or how did you?
No.
I mean, how did you come up with this idea? So you started thinking about it, and was it after college, or?
Yeah, it was after college. It was forming in the time, but it was really taking the gap there that was, buying a car should be a great experience, and owning the car, driving the car, having it is a great experience, and it connects with people in different ways, but on some level for everybody, and it's an expensive purchase. And so I saw that there's a lot of opportunity around the experience, and looked for ways to make that better.
Yeah, I'm trying to think back now. I think I've owned 6 cars now, and 3 of them I bought from dealerships. I had an MG that had holes in the bottom of it, and we don't even want to go there, but yeah, so the experience seems like it's a great thing. Let's pull up the first slide too, which I think is actually from your website. Let's pull up slide 1.
Yep.
Yeah, so the website seems like it's easy to use, and is this on the homepage, or?
I think that's part of the homepage, yeah.
So we can pull that down. The whole experience looks like it's really easy. I'm not ready to buy a new car yet, but take us through it, or if you want to talk about it a little bit.
It's really simple. You can come to us at any point in the process of what you're going through when it comes time to get a new car. And when I say any point in the process, it can begin in the early stages where you're just thinking about it, and it can be all the way to the point where you have gone out and maybe already gone to a dealership, tried to buy a car, and they didn't have the color you wanted, or the process was taking too long, or you weren't feel like you were getting fair terms, and you can come to us and say, I was pretty much done, but I couldn't finish. If you could get it for me easier, save me some money, and make it enjoyable,
So it's a
I'm all
great
yours.
negotiating tool for the customer.
Yeah.
That puts the power in with them rather than with the dealership and their financing and what have you.
Yes, and if you go back to the other part, is you can come to us at any part in the process. So people can come to us saying, I'm in the early stages, or I've done some research, and that's a great place to come, where I'm between 2 different cars, or I'm between buying and leasing. I'm hearing I should lease, I'm hearing I shouldn't lease. Someone told me I should look at a certified pre-owned, someone told me that they're not good deals. What's right for, and when people come with those questions for them, our team can work with them and answer the questions to help them understand and give them the information they need to empower them to have a better informed decision.
Let's bring up another slide now. I think I'm behind on the slides a little bit. So this is another happy, it looks like somebody's going on a trip with their dog, and look at all that stuff. This looks like my everyday car. Let's bring that down. So any type of car.
Any type of car.
And is it used cars or mostly new?
Mostly new. We understand the industry as a whole.
Yeah.
I would say we're not after classic cars that are restored or need to be restored, but anything that's new, if it's nearly new, there's absolutely an opportunity for us to compare the value. What we found lately is a lot of the used cars in the marketplace are expensive for what they should be, and people are expecting to save 30 or 40% by buying a used car, and the savings might only be 10%. And in that case, it may be a better deal to get a low price on a new car versus a high price on a used car. And that's stuff that we can help people understand the difference between.
Let's bring up the next slide too. And this is, this is the daunting task, right? Of there's so many car dealerships, and it kind of takes us away. I know when I went to look for my SUV, which was a 99 4Runner, which I still own, walking in the dealership, it was just the dread, and we could pull that down, the dread of walking in and having to haggle with the car salesman.
Yeah, and I think going to the dealership, at least for me, when you first go, it's exciting. There's a lot of new cars there, you're full of energy, you want to get through it. But after you spend hours of time, it can get tiring, and it's not necessary. And I think even the dealerships recognize that, and I want to give them credit for trying to streamline their process, and some are doing a really good job of doing that to make it easier, because people don't want to spend the day there.
Okay, I'm going to pull up another one because I'm still in the slides way questions ago. So I love the right side. People can go to your website and take a look. This is some of the benefits of buying with you. And then the lady here in the photo, I love that her hair matches the tire or the wheels. I guess I should say the rims. Looks like a happy car buyer, and taking the hassle out. We pull that down.
Yeah, and that's one of the greatest things about what we do, because we listen to what's important to each client. And in this case, it was getting that black Volkswagen GTI, which she had gone on to every website looking for. She had been calling places, and then she had shared with a colleague at work how frustrated she was, and that colleague had referred her to us because they had used us before. And she called us. We instantly found that car. I think it was in Southern California. The next day we had it shipped up here, and the next day she got it. And she was so happy that she was able to get exactly what she wanted. And it all happened within like...
So do you ship them to their home? Do you take them to their homes, or they pick them up?
So they can pick them up at one of our delivery centers, and we have 3 throughout Northern California and 3 throughout Southern California, or we can deliver to someone's home or
to their
work.
home.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because there's some photos, and it looks like they may have been delivered to the house. Let's talk about the technology too. So technology, how did you come up with that? Where do you find the people for that, or where did you, and has that morphed?
Yeah, so I think first and foremost, Cartelligent is in the people business, and that can sound cliche, but truthfully, the most important thing to us is each one of our clients and each one of the people that are part of the Cartelligent family. We really want to work with each person individually and make sure they're having a great experience. Where technology comes into play is using it to provide a better experience. So whether it's through our CRM, being able to keep up with everything.
Which is customer relation
management, right?
For people that may not know.
We use software to help us do that. And we also have built a platform inside our organization to be able to move information about available cars, available pricing, changes in the marketplace, and to be able to be efficient and timely in responding to our clients.
It has to be a huge database transfer of information. So in the last 10 years, has that changed drastically? Because has it been 10 years?
It's been actually 16 years since I started the company.
16, wow, okay. Yeah.
And so yes, it's getting easier. There's more and more options. There's more and more things that are off the shelf that are easy for a business to put in and to work with, to help them scale, help them serve better. So that's definitely happening.
So the website, I'm just looking here, I have to look at my notes. The website has 4 executives, 2 branch managers, 28 other folks, sales and marketing. How many people are actually working with the company now?
So as you've added that up, in about 35 people work with the company.
And it seems like you're probably hiring all the time because it's growing.
We are, and I think it's an opportunity for us. We have more demand for our service on a regular basis than we do have staff. So there is an opportunity there. How
many technology people?
Well, the technology that we use, the changes and the updates and the research that goes on, there's 2 people who are the primary owners of that stuff, but everybody is using technology every day.
So it's not like you have 20 engineers working on the database every day.
Correct. We have 20 people that are caring and taking an interest in someone's car buying experience and helping make sure that they're having a better one.
Interesting. And so do a lot of those people come from dealership backgrounds? I know this wasn't questions we set up, but
It's a
thinking
good
about
question.
it. Yeah.
No, actually very few, if any, do come from dealerships. We do have a lot of people that apply that have worked at dealerships, but we find that we're very different, and we're not a car dealership. We're not like a car dealership, and so the people that do best are more from customer service or entrepreneurial or passionate about
College
cars.
Students?
College students are great. Yeah.
And I have a note down that you have 6 locations listed. Is that correct? Or
Correct.
is there one opening?
So 6 now.
Okay.
And we get calls, and they're all throughout California between.
I think there's one on Charcote, and then
That's
San
close by here,
Francisco,
yep.
Marin.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so it's
And then in the East Bay, and then down in Los Angeles, and Orange County, and in San Diego.
San Diego. Yeah, which
Yeah.
I haven't visited there enough. So the technology of cars are changing so much in the next 5. We actually met at the Western Journalist Auto thing that they do every
I think
year.
it was called Silicon Valley Reinvents the Wheel.
Right. And Western Journalist Auto Group put it on, and some other folks. And so the next 5, 10, 20 years, autonomous cars, other things. What do you see, working in this industry, what do you see as the biggest change that's going to come up the pipe that will actually affect the average person?
Well, one thing that I see happening is the technology in cars, from how they're driven to even how you connect your phone with Bluetooth, or how navigation might work, or even how cars today can let you know when it needs service, is changing so fast. And you mentioned the autonomous cars, self-driving. That is also coming on, and we have a lot of people here in the Valley that are putting a lot of resources into that. And actually, I think we're at a point where it actually works. They're doing it with someone sitting behind the wheel just in case.
Yeah.
The question is, how will it, I think which what you're asking me is, which we talked about before, is how will it come into play, and how will it come into the space?
I mean, I love driving, but you have the generation that doesn't want to drive, they don't want to have a car. So will that pull that generation in, you think, to buying a car?
So I think that in time there will be more and more. There's a place for it, and as we figure out how to work driverless cars with driving cars, with pedestrians, with bicycles, I think it will find its way in.
With the dog running across the street, or
Right,
cat, or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think it will find its way into the landscape, but I don't see it completely taking over. I still see people who live in rural areas driving their car to get places. I still see people who really want to drive a car, and that may or may not be you or me for
Right,
everything.
and
If I could have been driven.
autonomous semi-truck hauling something, no. I don't think so.
So I see it coming on. I think there's the challenge of accessibility, and cost, and how it all fits in. But I think it'll be part of the landscape, just as things like Uber and Lyft are part of the landscape, or car share is part of the landscape. It'll all work together.
So I think I'm behind on the slides. Let's pull another slide up right now. Yep, and this one, our question about the technology and the specialty cars. I love this car. What is it?
This is a BMW i8, which is one of the latest modern cars. It's a hybrid electric car, so you can plug it in and it can drive a certain range on full electric mode, and then after that it has a gas tank.
We can pull that down. So you guys are able to pretty much get anything.
And that's an example of a car. When it came out, there were way more buyers than cars, and the marketplace, some dealers were charging big premiums to get them. And that client was a doctor actually in Southern California, and he really wanted one and had been eyeing it for a long time, and had contacted us and said, I think this is going to be impossible. And within a few days we were able to find exactly what he wanted incoming, and it didn't have that big markup on the price, and he was ecstatic.
So just today on the news, and this is getting off topic a little bit, the oil price is going down. They're talking about, people are going to stop buying electric cars. Do you think that's the hybrids? The BMW has one now. I just saw a commercial for Audi. You think that's going to keep going? That people are going to want to get away from the gas, or because it's going cheaper, it's going to go the other way? It's
definitely a challenge. As gas in California is, $2.50 to $3. I was just in Detroit last week, and gas is under $1.99. You can see
shut the door
for gas.
Wow!
And
I don't remember that since like the 80s or something.
So that is challenging it, and more people are comfortable in SUVs and trucks and pickup trucks, and that's driving them more when gas is that cheap. And honestly, you're at a point now where it's less expensive to put gas in than it is to charge your car, and that is a challenge that we have to deal with. But I'm not.
So inventories. For the dealerships and for you and for wherever you're getting the cars, is that worrisome about the market? And
well, for us as a business, it's not going to impact our business, because we can get people. We take what people want and then we go get it for them. And so
when gas, storing the cars,
when gas was $5 a gallon and they wanted more electric cars, we went out. We helped them get those. Now, when they're asking for more SUVs, we help them get that. But I think industry-wide, I think it's better for our environment if we can use electric cars more, and right now they are more expensive to buy because of the technology, and when you look at if they're more expensive to run, that's a problem.
As CEO, what's been the biggest challenge for you to date? And I didn't realize it was 16 years. I thought it was maybe 10.
The biggest challenge for me is that I instinctively have a vision of where this can go and how many people I would like to help, which is really anybody out there who is looking to get a new car. We'd like to give them a better experience, whether they completely use the service or they just get a free consultation and have some more information to help them. We want everyone that we can touch or that goes to our website to be better off when it comes to the car buying process. And so the biggest challenge is that you have to take steps to get there, to be able to get bigger, to be able to be available to help more. And so that's something that I deal with every day, of walking before running.
So if somebody has, I don't think we talked about this, if they have a car to trade in,
We
is
also
it better
have
for them just to sell it then, or?
Yeah, so we have a great trade-in platform. We can email you a link where you can take photos with your phone, put in some basic information about the car, and that will populate back into our system. And then we can look at data of what that car is trading for in the marketplace and then give you a great value for the car. It's usually more than you would get by trading in with a dealer. In some cases, if you tried to sell it on your own, on Craigslist per se, you might get a little bit more, but there's a lot of risk and time and energy associated with that.
Okay, so we'll look at my Mini later and trading that. There we
Yes.
go. Hybrid car. Got to do that at some point. I'm going to pull up the next slide. I know we have probably 8 more minutes left. This looks like a really happy truck buyer.
Yeah. And this was a gentleman, actually, he wanted a specific truck with specific equipment, and there are infinite number of ways you can configure this. And we actually had to special order that for him so he can get exactly what he wanted. And it took 6 weeks, but he was along for the ride.
What's been the biggest win for you as a owner and founder and a futurist, basically?
Yeah, I think the biggest win is the opportunity to make people's lives better. I'm not curing cancer, but when a client or someone on our team has fulfillment in something that comes with working with Cartelligent, that gives me great satisfaction.
Well, I've been thinking about selling the Mini for like 3 months, so we'll have to look at that later. Next, let's bring up the next slide. I think we're on slide 7 now, so we got a bunch more to get to. This is a maybe delivery.
Yeah, this is someone who got our full service and package, and we delivered it to their home.
Awesome.
And I think it was a surprise where the husband was planning it for the wife.
Aww.
And so we drove it up and put the bow out and rung the bell, and she came out and was just ecstatic.
Let's pull up the next one right away too. We've got a happy family there, looking like they're going on a vacation. Let's pull that down. Is there any organizations you've been working with for giving back to the community? Are there any specific?
Yeah, philanthropy is something that is very important to us, and I wish we could give to every organization out there. There's so many. And we get asked by a lot of our clients who have an organization that's near and dear to them, and we wish we could say yes to everything. We've made a focus on something that I think is really important, and that's education. And so anything that's related to education, and a lot of it comes with parents saying, there's a fundraiser at our school, can you do something? Or
so the local soccer team,
things
or
like that.
or
and I think
volleyball or whatever.
I think that's the best way to invest in the future is opportunity for the young or anyone that's actually trying to learn and do new things.
Let's pull up, I think it's almost the last slide, the community slide. Are there needs from the community right now? What do you need from the community?
I think anybody that you know of that's looking and thinking about getting a new car, they should contact us through our website or by calling and saying, I want to learn more, and can you help me? And how can you help me? And we can give them a free consultation and hopefully make their situation better.
I think we've got 3 more slides that we got to get to really quick, so let's pull that up. Tell us about the most exciting part of what you do. And this guy looks again like a happy, like he's going to go for running with that, or off-road. Yeah.
Again, as you see, if we look through all these slides, each car is different, each person is different, and just to be able to connect with them on what's best for them, and then be able to deliver that. And that you're limited at that when you are at one dealership with one set of inventory, and it's unlimited with us when you can get any car anywhere.
Okay, and we got 2 more, so let's pull up another one really quick. I think this is the lady with the happy dog buyer.
Yeah, first time car buyer. She'd never bought a car before, had no idea how to do it, was completely overwhelmed, and we just brought it down to
Such
earth.
a cute little dog. And then I think we have one more slide, so let's pull that up too. And last but not least, these guys, they look like they're out, is it Yosemite or something?
It looks like Yosemite.
Yeah,
I don't know.
enjoying their new car with your logo at the bottom there. We can pull that down. Are there events that you guys participate in?
We do. We do community events, and some companies here in the Valley have invited us to come to their benefits fairs or to vendor fairs. And we've gone and participated, and we continually go and participate in those and get a lot of exciting employees.
Do you have events at your locations?
We don't currently have events at our locations.
No open houses or anything?
No.
Not yet?
No.
Maybe someday.
Yeah, they're more functional delivery centers and
so there's not a big meeting space. If there's one thing that you wanted to leave with the audience, what would it be?
That we want you to have a great car buying experience. Anything we can do to help you would be our honor. And
any last things that you want people to remember about you personally, or the organization, or any last thoughts?
I would say to anyone who's wondering what they should do or what they want to do in their life is think about something you're passionate about and spend time doing that. And that's works for me. And
yeah, it's awesome.
It's great.
Yeah,
great
thank you for it's a great organization. And again, I need to probably get rid of that car. So I had too many cars sitting in the backyard. It's looking like a parking lot, right? So thank you for coming on today. And to the audience, follow us on Twitter and Facebook, svtags.org, www.svtags.org, because it still is a Google site. And make this, and thank you to our sponsors as well, and make this a great week by conserving, reusing, and rethinking the way you choose to live here in Silicon Valley and beyond. Thank you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks.